Welcome to the Empowered Entrepreneur Show. Discover your life's purpose, reprogram your mind for success, and attract an abundance of paying clients to your business. Now, here's your host, Tom Tenaglia.
Aloha, Empowered Entrepreneur. I am Tom Tenaglia, and you're listening to the Empowered Entrepreneur Show. And in today's episode, I want to continue along our idea of what are ways that we can do to attract our ideal customer. And in last week's episode, we looked at 3 tangibility tests, the idea of how it is that we take what we do that's abstract and turn it into something that's tangible so that it's something that the customer can relate to, basically. In this episode, I want to talk about the 3 whys. The 3 whys are what we need to make sure that we answer in our marketing. And I've talked about these to some degree before, and now building off of what we talked about last week with the tangibility tests, I think the 3 whys will make even more sense. So coming out of the last episode when we talked about, okay, there's these 3 ways that we can check to see if what it is that we do is tangible enough, and the idea that tangibility is so key to attracting our ideal customer. Now that at that point, our customer will know what it is that we do, what we could do for them. The 3 whys comes in at that point, though, because now it's, what are the 3 whys? The 3 whys are why you, why this offer, and why now. So if I say, like, okay, well, hey, I have this offer where I use astrology to help people attract their ideal romantic partner, which is what I'm doing at avatarattraction.com. Well, people are going to say, well, why you? Well, because I'm, first of all, the only one doing it. And I did it to find my partner. And it's a way of taking astrology and using it with a level of precision to find your partner. So why me could be as simple as, well, 1, I've done it, I've gotten the result, and 2, I'm the only one doing it. So if you haven't used this method before, here is an offer that you can take advantage of. Well, that gets into why this offer, right? Why this offer? Well, it's a unique offer. I mean, nobody's really teaching using astrology to attract your ideal partner, let alone teaching it in a way that actually makes attracting your partner tangible, not the pie in the sky clouds. Oh, well, just think about your partner and draw them in, and the other aspect of it. No, this is actual tangible manifestation of your partner, because the process brings the partner into manifestation. Okay, so why this offer is because this is actually a tangible method of applying astrology to attracting your ideal partner. And then why now? Well, I mean, in that niche, it could be why now from the perspective of so that you can actually start enjoying your life with your partner, so that you don't grow old alone, so that you're not alone. And it can really get into some of those other things. It can also be why now this offer. It can be why so on avatarattraction.com at the time of this recording, the offer, it's going to launch this weekend, the time that I'm recording it. And by the time you listen to it, it'll be there. It's a book, and it's a very thorough book. So you might be thinking, well, why now for this book? And that question is a combination of letting people know, connecting the offer, giving a reason for them to purchase it now, and also relating to just the sheer amount of time that it's taken for them to get ready to realize this. Hey, look, they've gone through so much already looking for their partner. Isn't it time they actually do a process that's actually going to work? And yeah, you can keep stumbling along, or you can just implement this process and the book is reasonably priced, therefore just try it out. I mean, so it really gets people thinking, well, why now? Well, it's like, what do I have to lose at that point, right? So this is an interesting one because I went with a book for this particular offer to kind of convey the point of why me, right? So when they're saying why you, they're asking why you. So when I look at it, I go, well, why me? The book gives a good bit of authority. Okay, why this offer? Because it's kind of a unique offer and it actually works. And why now? Because of the reasons that I've already articulated. So in thinking through those three whys, it helps really, it goes, well, where else are you going to get this information? Where else is this going to work? Is this so far-fetched? Well, not really. People that follow astrology know that they can use astrology to manifest their ideal partner. So I just have to market to that group of people who are looking for their ideal partner, who don't understand astrology, can come to that website and realize that there's the idea of manifestation, and then understand and then make a connection to using astrology, because it's finding your ideal partner. So we might as well use your astrology because your astrology is you, right? It's the way that works for you. See, this is so funny. People are like, well, just give me the way to find my partner. Well, I can't. And yet other dating coaches will give generic ways of finding partners. And I'm saying the reason why the astrology works is because it's your way of finding your partner. And then the book teaches how to apply that with the way that the universe works for manifestation to actually find your partner. And once people get it, it's like, oh, right? So I had to take something so esoteric, the idea of astrology, and bring it into the relationship space in that example. I'm working on doing the same thing in the business space. I started working on it in the business space a while ago, and I realized the gap between astrology and business for most people was way too wide. In the relationship space, it's pretty common, right? People look at, hey, what are compatible zodiac signs? Should I be with this person? Should I, right? So within the relationship space, astrology is kind of already there. It's not the way that I do it. I don't look at zodiac sign compatibility. I look at energy movement between people in a relationship, and even other things beyond that. So it was closer. So I'm like, okay, I can actually start with it here. In the business space, I'm actually looking at it from the perspective of concepts that I'm going to write about in that book, and then show how astrology enhances those concepts to some degree, right? So what you can do with your astrology to better relate to your customers and better attract your customers. Basically taking the concepts of business and saying, well, if you agree with A, B, C, and D, the business concepts, here's how you use astrology to do A, B, C, and D, so to speak. Right? So that's an oversimplification of it. So then it shrinks the space between where the reader would be, right? Because if I say, well, use astrology to grow your business, it's a bit far-fetched. It's a new opportunity, but it's a bit far-fetched for a lot of people, right? How to use astrology and energy in the universe to manifest your ideal partner is already pretty close. It's a unique opportunity, and it's still pretty close to where people are at. So this is a whole nother, topic. Could probably be a whole nother episode on it. Is looking at that awareness factor. With the three whys, though, so you do have to factor that in. Is why this offer? It can't just be such a unique offer that it doesn't even connect with where they are. It has to start with where they are, and then show how it's unique and not what they've done before, and why they need it. Right? So why they need it is effectively why this offer. When you put why you, why this offer, and why now together, the conclusion is why they need it. Right? So, there were, I'll elaborate on this probably in a couple other episodes too, but basically there are people I just don't buy from because what I either bought from before or saw for free or whatever was so watered down that the natural conclusion is the paid stuff is also watered down. And yet the people that I buy from who deliver an extreme amount of value up front, the conclusion is they deliver an extreme amount of value on the back end. I've also bought from people that take the same thing on the front end and they turn it into a different method of delivery, but the same content on the back end. And that's also detrimental. And I tend not to buy more from them either. Right? So if you're looking at why the offer, why now, it is okay to help them understand some of the very things they need to achieve and do to get that result, because then it even further leads them towards purchasing, right? If the reason why somebody hasn't found their ideal partner is because they're not using their astrology, they're not doing what they need to do to find their ideal partner, then all I have to do is say, well, then here in this book, you're going to learn how to use your astrology to find your ideal partner. Right? So once they understand, so that's the big aha. You know, they could go and say, well, I'm going to dive into astrology and then start researching on their own. But I already know that if they start doing that, they're going to run into a bunch of stuff they don't know how to put it together. They're going to run into a bunch of puzzle pieces. But the book is designed to take all those puzzle pieces and assemble them specifically for finding their ideal partner. The language in the book is around finding your ideal partner. The astrology interpretations and the method of using astrology is around finding your ideal partner. Right? So you could have something in your astrology that, you know, if you're learning about you with it, it's one way of interpreting. If you're learning about how you relate it to another partner, it's another way. If you're using it for manifestation, it's another way. If you're using it for an event in your life, it's another way. Right? And so we take all these different things and it's like, here are the puzzle pieces. Here's how we zoom in on that puzzle piece. And then here's how we zoom out so we actually see the whole picture. And here's how the puzzle pieces fit together. Here's the box cover. And that's basically what's in that book at avatarattraction.com. Right? So I already know that if they understand what's in this book, that it's like they don't want to go anywhere else. Because they're going to have to do that assembly on their own. They're going to have to figure out what's true, what's not true for them. That's what really answers, okay, well, why me? Well, because Tom already did this assembly of information. He already put it together. You know, for a very reasonable, I wouldn't even call it an investment. It's a book. I mean, it's reasonably priced. And just, you know, to have that amount of information. You know, it's funny because when I was putting the book together, I'm like, this whole section right here in this book, a certain section, I'm like, I could turn that into a whole other book. You know, and I'm like, but I'm going to leave it here. There were some things that I wrote in the book. I'm like, these are life-changing ways of looking at this and how to navigate that clients would pay thousands of dollars to learn, and yet I'm putting them in this book. I'm like, do I want to do this? And the answer is yes. The answer is yes, because these are the things that are going to help them. These are the things that are going to make the difference. You know, and then if they want help one-on-one, or they want to work with me to help handle identifying blind spots or navigating, you know, releasing negative emotions and you know, things like that, or letting go of limiting beliefs, then yeah, we can hop on a call. We can talk about those things. And at the end of the day, the book is entirely helpful in and of its own. And for the vast majority of people, they're just, if they implement it, yeah, they can find their ideal partner, no problem. And that's the idea of over-delivering on value. So then what's interesting about that is the why you, why this offer, why now still plays out. If they read the book, then the only person they really want to work with on finding their ideal partner is me, right? Or somebody on my team, right? So they want to implement that process because now they believe in that process. That process has already helped them, right? And so if they want more help, then they only want to work with me, right? So that's kind of how this works. If you really think through why you, why the offer, why now. I don't want to be grouped together with other astrologers. I don't want to be grouped together with other entrepreneurs. I want to create categories that are uniquely me. That's actually more what's behind the scenes of the business book that I'm working on. Because if you use your astrology in business, you're actually effectively creating a category that's just uniquely you. Then there's no competition. Right? So thinking through the tangibility tests, creating an offer, creating an idea that's tangible, and then looking at the 3 whys, because now the 3 whys start bridging the gap between, hey, you have something that you can offer. What's the reason why somebody would want to buy it? What would motivate them to buy it? Because what you don't want to do is create an offer so great that somebody then goes somewhere else to go get it. You need to be able to separate yourself out for why it's you, why it's your offer, and why it's now. You need to be able to separate that out so that they know. So that they know that that's the real deal. I mean, I can't tell you the number of times it's like, I buy a number of different products for just research purposes, right? And the amount of times that I've seen watered down solutions, maybe their target market is not me, or maybe they're just not understanding and they threw together a fast product and they didn't take the time on it. I spent a lot of time on this on the avatarattraction.com book. It's very thorough. The amount, like, yeah, it's a book. Yeah, it's going to be reasonably priced. I mean, I didn't look at it that way. I wanted to put more than 10x value in there. I probably put 1,000x value in there, if not even more. Right? Because the amount of information that I assembled into single lines in that book, what I had to go through to learn those things, or the number of clients I had to work with, or or just the things I had to navigate in my life to be able to write what I wrote, the amount of value somebody's getting, it's just astronomical. And so I'm looking at it going, do I even want to put this much value in there? And the answer is yes, because it's going to help those people that much more. Right? So really think through why you, why the offer, why now? And that will begin to get people to realize why it is that what it is you're presenting them is exactly, what's right for them. If they're your ideal customer, and then they'll just become your customer. So, and with that, aloha, ahuiho. I'll talk with you again soon.
Thank you for listening to the Empowered Entrepreneur Show.